Hello everyone, this is Rohit Manoharan from Networkers Home and welcome back to the AWS Solutions Architect Associate Lab Training. For this video, we are going to discuss about how to implement Elastic Compute Cloud. So before jumping into a lab session, let's discuss a little bit theory first. EC2, it's actually a web service that provides resizable compute capacity in the cloud. So it has a scale capacity too, which means you can scale up or you can scale down your VM. Next feature that EC2 is famous for is its pricing model. So the first one is on demand. So what does that on demand means is if you run it, you will be charged for it. It's that simple. The second one is reserve. So you can actually reserve a capacity in AWS and you will have special discounts too in that. Basically, you have to make a contract between 1 to 3 years and AWS will provide you a specific capacity where you can store your compute capacity and you can actually have special discount to implement it. So I think you guys need to see the implementation of this thing. So let's jump to our AWS management console and implement our first EC2. So the best way to learn something in IT is basically you have to get your hands dirty. You have to practice the lab. So I am already logged into my AWS management console. The next thing that you have to do is go for services and under compute capacity, you can see EC2. So what you have to do is simply click on EC2, which will open up the EC2. So basically EC2 had two UIs. One was the older version and this is the newer experience. And if you want to toggle between those two, so you can use this toggle button. Yeah. And when I toggle it, you can see I am in the older UI. And I think you should practice the newer UI because the older one will be discarded in future. So I'll switch back to the new EC2 experience. Yeah. And as you can see, I have nothing going on. All is zero. Running instances, dedicated host, everything is zero except the security group. A security group is basically a firewall. So we will discuss it in the other video. So don't worry. So what I have to do is go a little bit down and click on launch instance. So it will pop up a drop down menu and in that you have to click on launched instance. And there are a couple of instances already available in AMI. So you have to basically select anything. So I will select for this Amazon Linux because it's free tier eligible. And there are a couple of things which are free tier. So as you can see, we have Red Hat, SUSE Linux, Ubuntu server, we have Windows server, and there are other two I because I am learning this and you are too learning this AWS, you have to select for Amazon Linux 2 AMI SSD volume type. So let's go for this one and you have two options. You can have ARM as well as x86. I'll go for the default one and select this. And as you can see, I have different compute capacity. So I have VPC, memory, instance storage. As you can see, there is EBS and we will discuss about EBS in the future video. So I have one VPC with 1 GB RAM and there is an EBS storage. Network performance is low to moderate. So as you can see, we have that and we are eligible and we are using this in free tier. So I just want to use it as micro. So there are different things in EC2. As you can see, we have nano, micro, we have large, X large, small, medium. So there is difference in this. So as you can see, we have 32 GB RAM in 2X large. Okay, so it's completely up to you. If you want, if you are using it in your corporate network, you can actually size it up. And if you're not, you can actually use the free tier one. So the next thing that you have to do is click on next configure instance details. And as you can see, we have number of instances. I am going for one, and you can actually auto scale this instance also. You can actually perform an high availability. You can do a couple of things with that. So it will be discussed in the future video, so don't worry. Purchasing options is also there, which means you can reserve this, and this means you can actually reserve your capacity separately. Okay, and you can check out the spot prices, so it's completely dependent on you. The network part is VPC, which we will discuss in the networking part, and this is the default one, so I'm good for that. And the next thing is our subnet, and as you can see, we have a default subnet in any availability zone, so I will go for 1C. It's completely up to you what you have to use. It's IPv6, and what I meant to say is, if you have a different account and you are creating the same EC2 of AMI Linux, okay, and you are choosing the same 1C in the Mumbai region. As you can see, I'm creating this in Mumbai region, right? So you are not connected to each other. Just remember that. AWS doesn't work like that. So if you think that from a different account you can access a virtual machine of a different account, it doesn't work like that. In networking it works because you are in the same subnet, but in AWS it doesn't work. Okay, the next thing is auto assign public IP, and it's enabled, and I'm okay with that, so it's okay. The next thing is placement group. We will cover it. Actually, it's actually used for performance computing, and we will cover it, so don't worry. The other one is capacity reservation, and you can actually open it, so I am not going to do that because it's a free tier. Yeah, the next one is IAM role. You can give a specific role, S3 access, whatever you want. You can actually join a directory also, so you can actually create a directory. The shutdown behavior is stop. So basically you have two shutdown behavior, which is stop and terminate. So I will go for stop, the default one. The next thing is hibernation feature. If you want your machine to use hibernation, and to explain hibernation, it's to resume at the state when I turn it on. It's basically the hibernation part. Enable termination protection. You can have a specific protection. I am not going to use that. You can actually monitor these things. You can monitor your charges and all in CloudWatch. We will discuss about CloudWatch in another video, so don't worry. We have credit specification, the same charges thing. So I am in the free tier. I am not going to use these all. So I will click on next, add storage. Now, as you can see, we are the root volume. Our device is dev x BDA. Snapshot is this. We have a size of 8 GB. Our volume is SSD, GP2 SSD. So let's discuss about it. The one thing that I missed earlier was this thing, which is advanced details, and as you can see, metadata is there. Actually, this one is used for the bootstrap script. You can actually pass bootstrap scripts. We will see that also later on, so don't worry about that. So I just skipped it, so it's okay. You have to click on next, add storage, and we are in the root volume, and root volume can only be launched in SSD and magnetic, which means you can only use SSD, which is provisioned SSD, and magnetic device as a volume type. If you want an additional volume, you can launch it as HDD2. So if you are using it, so now you can see the volume type change from root to EBS, right? And its device is also different. It's SDB, right? And as you can see, we have a cold HDD, we have optimized HDD, we have magnetic. So as you can see, we have only SSD and magnetic. So the root directory should always be SSD. That's fixed. And as you can see, we can encrypt all these. So we don't have any encryption right now, and we will be discussing that too. So delete on termination is on. So what you have to do is go, and so I will delete this extra volume. Yeah. And free tier eligible customer can get up to 30 GB of EBS. So it's great. So I will go for next, and add tags. It's basically up to you. If you want to add some tags, you can add the tags. So let's add some tags. I'll go for name, and it's actually my web server. Great. I'll add another tag. I will go for it's nh. Yeah, that's enough. You can add maximum of 50 tags. It's completely up to you. I'll configure the security group, right? So security group. So talking about security group, we have a security group, which is basically a firewall, and virtual firewall, you can say that. And we will discuss this in deep in another video. In this video, let's discuss a little bit of this. So basically, we have a TCP protocol, and type is SSH. We have a port of 22 with source custom 0.0.0.0/0, which basically means you can access anything. Means anyone in the internet can SSH to us. So basically, and if you click on it, you can edit it out with your personal public IP. It's completely up to you. You can add a description. So for this, we are going to use our Linux as a web server. So for that, I will go and click on add rule, go for custom, and I will click on HTTP. And the same thing, anyone in the internet, which is 0.0.0/0, which means anyone in the internet can access this HTTP. And you can actually customize my IP, which will give you the specific public IP that I am using. Yeah. And I will go for custom and go for the same thing, which is 0.0. Anyone in the internet can access this EC2. Yeah. It will give you a warning too that it means allow all IP address to access your instance, and I'm okay with that. I will simply click on review and launch. Yeah, and these are the review of my settings, and as you can see, we have all these things. We have two tags, simple. Now I will click on launch. The next thing that you have to do is download a key pair, and AWS instances use is asymmetric encryption. You have to download it. So I will go for choose an existing pair. I don't have any pair, so I will go for select a key pair. You can go for create a new pair, and you can actually proceed without a key pair. So I will basically prefer you to create a key pair because it's secure. So I will create this key pair. I will download this key pair. So before that, you have to give it a name. I will give it ABC and download this key pair. And as you can see, it's downloaded here. It's abc.pem. Great. And the next thing that you have to do is click on launch the instances. As you can see, my instances are now launching, and what you have to do next is click on view instances. And the thing that you want to notice is the status check. It's actually initializing, which means it will take approximately 6 to 7 minutes. And let us just reload and let's see if it's changed. And as you can see, it's completed and it's the instance state is running. And we have a public IP, we have a public IPv4 DNS. Yeah, and let's see. And the next thing that you want to do is to connect with it. So how to connect with it? It's very simple. You have to basically click on it. You have to click on actions and click on connect. And there you get all the details about the EC2 instance, and you have a default username EC2 minus user. So basically this is the default user. So I will click on connect and it will open a new tab in which you will get the console. and let's wait. Yes, it's the console. So there are a couple of options through which you can connect to this console. There is Putty from Windows. It's a software. You have to download it. It's pretty simple. You have to go and search for Putty. Yeah. And if you go for Putty, you can see the download button, and you can easily download it and run it. So I will show you the procedure there also. The next step is to connect it from a Linux, and it's very easy in Linux because the download key is in our favor extension, which is PEM. The other method is through a Chrome extension, which is shell, yeah, secure shell. And if I go for secure shell, as you can see, this one, which is offered by Google Secure Shell developers, and you have to basically add it to the Chrome. And I am using Chrome browser, Chromium browser, which is Edge. You can use any other browser. So basically, we have to start with Linux. Let's try it with Linux and check whether if it's working or not. So I have a virtual machine running Ubuntu. What you have to do next is move the ABC file to this machine. So I have already done it. As you can see, I have abc.pem file. And if you do the connect one, you have a SSH client tab in which you will have all the instruction to how to connect to this machine. So as you can see, we have to make sure that this abc.pem has specific permission. So for that, they are using chmod 400 abc.pem. So I will simply copy it and go for a Linux machine, Control Shift V, hit enter, and it's done. The next thing that you want to make sure is to be in the root. And if you are not, you have a command called sudo su. It's very simple because permission escalation only happens in root. So the next command that you want to type is this one, which is basically ssh minus I, and I will type it, so it's okay. So you want to do ssh, use the key abc.pem. So I will type abc.pem. Yeah, and you have a user of EC2 minus user at the rate, now the domain name. So let's go for the domain name, and this is the domain name. Let's copy it. Control. Okay, copy, and I'll go for machine. Let's paste this. Sorry, let's, yeah, and hit enter. It's that simple. Now it's asking me to save the fingerprint. I will hit yes. As you can see, I am in the machine. So let's go for the other one, which is using Putty. Let's see the Putty also. So I have already installed Putty. For that, you have to go for Putty. Let's go for Putty and click on it. Simple. I'll move it here. For this, you have to copy the host name or the domain name. So as you can see, we have a domain name. Let's go for the IP this time, and let's paste it here. Simple. Now you have to give the authentication part. Where you have to give is under SSH. You have to click this small plus button, and under authentication, you can attach your file. But Putty has a thing that you have to attach specific .ppk file. So we have to convert that .pem to .ppk. So let's do that. You have to again go for Putty Gen, which will be installed with Putty. So you don't have to worry. So we'll simply open it. I will move it here. Yeah. So I will just load the file. Basically it will not show because it's searching for ppk. So I will go for abc.pem, which was our authentication key for asymmetric encryption. What I will do is simply click on generate, and let's wait to generate it. And now what we will do is simply click on save private key, and then browse that save private key here, and we will try to connect it. It's very simple. Let's do that. Yeah, so I will save it, which is save the private key, and I will hit yes, and we will save with the same name, which will be abc.ppk. I will not choose this one. I will hit save. It's simple. Now I will go for browse. Again for the E, I have a folder called shared. I have abc.ppk. Great. I will click on it. Session. Okay, great. So now you have to click on open, and it's asking me to save the fingerprint. I will hit yes. Login as EC2 minus user. Next one that we are going to see is through a Chrome extension, and you can use any Chromium browser, and I'm using the Edge, which is now Chromium. And what you have to do is simply click on add to Chrome, which will give you this pop-up, and you have to click on add extension, which will download the extension. As you can see, it's blinking right now. It will download the extension and it will add the extension. The next thing that you have to do is simply type Chrome ://apps and wait for it to add. As you can see, I don't have anything, so it will add. It's still loading, and I will resume this video after it's loaded. So as you can see, I have a small icon right here, which is secure shell icon. I will simply click on it, which will give me options. So I have to click on connection dialog, which will open a tab, and now I have the options to fill the fields. What I have to do is simply fill the username, which is EC2 minus user. Now the host name. So let's check the host name, which was in this tab. Let's go for public DNS again. Yeah, Control C. And let's check it. Let's paste the host. Great. Now you have to import the keys. So I will click on import. And as you can see, I have under downloads and key, which is abc.pem, but I can't import this PEM key, so I have to convert it to PUB because this extension supports .pub. So for that, I have to simply go for the downloads folder. For that, it's very simple. You have to type cd downloads, hit enter, do for dir if you want. So I have already key folder that I know, so I will go for key, hit tab, hit enter, and now if I do dir, I have abc.pem. As you can see here, abc.pem. I will convert this abc.pem. So for that, I will type ssh minus keygen, right, minus y minus f. Now the file name, which is abc.pem, and hit tab, which will auto complete it, and convert it to abc.pub. Hit enter. It's done. Now the next thing that you have to do is rename that PEM file to just ABC. So I will type abc.pem, and I will type ABC, hit enter, and it's done. And if I do dir now, I have two files, which is abc and abc.pub. So let's check this and hit on import. And as you can see, I am under key. I have both the files. Select both the files and click on open. The next thing that you have to do is hit enter. But as you can see, I have no fields right now. Just type EC2. Again, I have to fill the fields, I guess. EC2 user, paste it. It's done. Yeah, and hit enter. And it's asking me to open SSH link, and I will hit allow. And as you can see, I got a fingerprint connection. I will type yes, hit enter, and I am in the terminal of my Linux, Amazon Linux. So that's it. So in the beginning of this video, I opened the port 80, which is HTTP. So I have to convert this Linux box into a web server to test that port 80. So what you have to do is simply click on this machine and go for actions, click on connect. And what you have to do is simply click on connect again, and it will be opening the console in a new tab. And as you can see, I am an EC2 user, so I am going to convert me to the root, which is very simple. Type sudo su. The next thing that I will do is update all the repositories. So I will go for yum update -y and hit all. Yeah, and it's showing no packages marked for update, so it's in the latest repository, so I don't have to do anything. The next thing that I have to type is yum install httpd -y. Hit enter, let it install. and it's installed. As you can see, it's showing complete. Great. Now what you have to do is very simple. Let's go for a location. So let's check our current location, which will be PWD. We are in home EC2 user, and if I do ls, so it's not showing. What I have to do is go for specific space, which will be cd. I have to type var, which will be var, and I have to go for www, go for HTML, sorry, not HTTP, HTML, hit enter. So I am in the location. Currently I don't have any file in this because I have just installed the repo. And what you have to do is create a file. And if you have worked with web servers, so the default page will be index.html. So I will create a file and I will type nano index.html. It's that simple. And it's opened the nano editor. You can use any editor you want. You can use Vim, you can use nano. There are many editors. You can use whatever you want. The next thing that I have to type is an HTML script. So you can actually copy it. It's very easy. So I'm going for HTML. Let's close the HTML first. And we will edit this out. Yeah, hit enter. And let's add a header. Type h1. Great, and let's close this also. And this means a header which will be bold, and you have to type whatever header you want in between of these opening and closing fields. So I will type networkers home, and that's it. I don't want to create a complicated one, and I will do Control X and type Y to save the changes. File name to write is index.html and hit enter. And it's saved. Simple. And as you can see, I have index.html file. And if you do cat, which is only read of this file, you can see what it's inside, and it's HTML, H1, H1. So the next thing that you have to do is simply use the public IP. Let's go for the public IP. Yeah. Let's go for this one. Copy it. And let's paste it in the browser, hit enter. Okay, let's check it. It's loading, let's wait. Okay, let's type http:// enter. Okay, why it's not loading is because I didn't start the HTTPD service, because I have only written the file. So to start the service, you have to type service httpd, simple, and type start. That's all, and it's started. Now you can do is check the configuration. If you want, you can type chk config on, hit enter. Yes, it's working. Let's check it. Yeah, as you can see, I have networkers home. So that's it for this video. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next video. Till then, bye bye. Thank you.